Hello everyone, my name is Robert Escamilla. I am the assistant band director at the Brookings High School. Auditions are going to look a little bit different for drumline this year. So I'm going to kind of go over some snare technique, some bass technique. Tenor technique is pretty much the same thing as snare, you just move around drums. And yeah, we're going to go. I'm going to also go through some exercises with you that we're going to be playing for auditions. Disclaimer, my dogs are in the garage with me while I'm recording this, so if you hear any barks or anything, just continue watching, you'll be fine. So the first thing is, how do you hold your sticks? For marching percussion, it's pretty much the same, in your right hand, it's pretty much the same thing as a concert snare. So you're going to have your fulcrum is going to be your pointer finger and your thumb on your right hand. They're going to hold the stick like this. As you can see, my pointer finger and my thumb are right across from each other. The stick is going to be in this meaty part of your hand right here. And then your other three fingers are just going to wrap around. They shouldn't be tight. There shouldn't be any tension. You should just have a nice, relaxed feel. For your other hand, you're going to have in your left hand, if you want to play snare for traditional grip, you're going to have your pointer finger and your thumb, and they are going to create a little, kind of like if you were doing this. If you can see this thing, like okay, you're going to keep that form and have the stick go right in between. So if you can see how that is, my other three fingers are off. This is on. This is how you would have your pointer finger and your thumb. You're making like a little circle. On your ring finger, on this finger right here, you're going to have the stick on your first knuckle. So you're going to have it on this knuckle right here. And then your other finger just kind of wraps around, and your pinky should just be kind of floating there. So that's the two grips that you should have for snare drum. Bass, you're just going to repeat what you have on the right hand, on the left hand, and it's just going to be a match grip. Cool? That was awful, but whatever, we continue. So, once you have your grip down, how do you rotate your wrist to actually stroke out stuff? So, on your right hand, if you can see, I'm going to move this a little bit. As you can see, you're going to want to have your sticks in the center of the drum, and they are going to be about an inch off of the head. When you stroke, you're going to break your wrist. Can you see my wrist move like that? And go back down. Break, back down. Break, back down. Break, back down. On your other hand, on your left hand, in the traditional hand, your wrist doesn't break like that, so you actually have to turn your wrist, kind of like you were turning a doorknob. You would turn up, turn down, turn up, down, up, down. And as you can see, my elbow right here kind of moves out and in. You don't want to do that too much. It's just it should just be a natural feel in your elbow. You're not over-exaggerating like this. Does that make sense? What else can I talk about? Oh yeah, so when you're playing on a drum, you have your set position, which is about an inch above the head. You have 3 inches. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, turn this. So you have your set position, which is about an inch above the drum. You have 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, and then 12 is pretty much the entire stick up. So 12, 9, 6, 3-ish, and then 1 right here. So 1, 3, 6, 9, and 12. And then the same thing on the left hand. It's going to be set position, 3, 6, 9, and 12. And as you can see in the traditional grip, as you go higher, your arm's going to need to push out to get that full 12 inches, that extension, the entire way. Alright, and so when you do that, so you have your set position. When you play, say, like 12 on a hand, you're always going to start with your right hand first. And so you have your top off, and then that downbeat is going to be on your right hand. 1. You start with your right, and then you end with your right as well. So on the end of the exercise, and you're going to end on your right hand. Another thing is when you're moving up, you're going to push up, strike the drum, and let it continue bouncing. You want a nice, relaxed feel. You can see that? Here it goes. And as you can see, my fingers, they push out just slightly. You don't want to have too much force on it, so it kind of looks real choppy. But you want to have just a nice, relaxed feel. At a slower tempo, you can see my wrist break and the fingers are slightly involved. As you get faster, you can see less of my wrist and more of my fingers. And same thing with your left hand as well. You want to use your wrist. As you get faster though, you're going to use your fulcrum to really push. So slow tempo, quicker, faster. Sweet. And yeah, that's kind of it for technique. Oh, bases, I forgot. So bases, you're going to use that same technique that you have with your match grip. You're going to break your wrist. The only difference is that you're taking your arm and you're turning it. So your arm should be parallel. Your arm should be parallel with the ground, and your stick, instead of going up and down like this, is going to go out and in, out and in, out and in, where you're hitting the head. And the same thing you should have, so if this is the snare, if this is the bass head, you're gonna have it 1 inch off the head for set position, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, and then 12. And as you can see, I'm trying to get a better picture of that. If you can see my wrist, you have that set position, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, and 12. It's still creating that same technique that you would for the snare. You're still breaking your wrist. The only difference is that it's going to be sideways like this, and not on a snare where it's up and down. And both of your sticks should be like that on a bass. So they should be right in front of you. Both of your arms should be parallel. Your stick should be in the center of the drum head. And then you're going to push out and back in. Push out, back in, push out, back in. Same thing on this one. Out, in, out, in, out, in. If you should have any questions about any of the technique, or just want any maybe like start a Zoom session with me so I can kind of look at your technique and stuff like that, please let me know. My contact information is in the PowerPoint. And yeah.